Okay, so this is the RxJS tutorial part 2. In the first episode, we have seen like how do we create an observable, various ways of creating observable, how do we subscribe, how does off and from different differ when we subscribe to them, right? So now moving ahead, next thing is like we are going to discuss operators. So when we discuss like how different RxJS is from when we compare with the promise. So promise doesn't have any operator. It has very straightforward things, and those are the only things we can do. But RxJS comes from a library, so it is rich in its operators. So many different operators are there. So some we are going to discuss. Again, more advanced are also there, but that we are going to discuss once we move to the advanced part of it. So for now, I will discuss some so that you will get the idea like what are operators, how we have to use the operator. When we are working in Angular project, what are the many use operators which we have to use daily? So many operators are there where we have to use it. Without those, we cannot get our work done. We can, but again, we write some extra code also. But by using operator, we can do that in a very proper way. Fine. Let's see. So let's try to create a number list where we will store some number of data, and then we will try to filter out by using the first operator, that is filter. Like in array also we have use filter. Like let's say you have an array, and if you want to filter that record, so we use the filter method, or map method is also there. Similar to that, we have different operator in RxJS also. Whenever we have to subscribe, and before subscribe we have to filter it out. Let's say from API you are getting some data, and before sending it back to the component in the service, you have to first filter it out, and then you have to send it back. So these all operators you will be useful over there. Okay. So first I'm going to use, like we have in the first episode, we have used from also and the off also, right? So for that, we will use it. Let's say I create number list dollar is equal to from operator I'm using just to create an observable, and inside that I will store the array 1 1 1 3 1 4 1 5 1 6 1 7 and 1 8 and 20. Fine. So I have created an observable by using the for. Now let's say in constructor we have to subscribe to it. Round bracket, curly bracket. So this dot number list dot subscribe around bracket result colon number. We know like array of number we are going to get. No, sorry, from now. So we will get one by one method. Okay. So console, because from operator, it will emit every one value at a time, right? So num. Let's save. In console, you can see all the values got printed. But let's say I just want the even number. So what we can do instead of directly subscribe, let me just remove this. I will use pipe operator. Okay. So pipe operator is basically used so that you can use another operator. So you cannot use filter, map, take or take until whatever the operators we have. We cannot use directly. We have to use it inside the pipe only. So pipe, then filter operator. Basically, we are just going to filter, right? So num percent equal percent 2 equal to 0. Then we will write the subscribe after this. Okay, let's save. Now, if you can see, only even numbers got printed. So before subscription, what we have done, we have filtered our array, right? So whenever you are subscribing, and let's say normally what we do, we keep our API call data into our service, right? So let's say from your API call, you got some array and you want to filter it back, and then you want to send it back to the component. So you use the filter method. It's not just with the array. In case of object, array, anything, you want to filter it out something based on any condition. So you use filter method. Okay. So now here, when it comes to the so from observable, it's like it emit every value at one time, right? But let's say you have an API call, and from that API call you get the array. So at that time you won't be iterating one by one. So normally to replicate that scenario, we will create roll number list, and we will use off operator. So that whole array we will get as a single data. So this I will put it over here. See, from operator, how does it works? It every time it will emit one by one value. So we are filtering it before pushing it to the subscribe. Now, let me just comment this. Now, same thing we are going to do with the form of operator. But in case of operator, what we actually get, right? So in off, we will get the whole array in one go instead of multiple instance. Let me just show you. Subscribe, result. Let's not use result first. Console.log. I will be printing my result directly. Okay. Let's save and check. Now here you can see in one go only I got all the element. But if we do the same thing for from, so you can see one by one element you will get. This I have already covered, but let's see one more time. This I'm commenting now. See, one by one we got means whatever the number of records you have in the from, every time one value will be emitted. So that subscribe will execute multiple time. Okay. But now here in your normal of operator, you will get whole array of number over here. So how we format that, right? So we will use pipe operator, filter. Now in this filter, you will get result. In this result, what you will get? Array. Because form operator, it is going to emit all the value in one go. So in result, you will get whole array. Now this result, you will get array of numbers. So here you can use your normal array method filter. Same logic, but because here you get the whole array, right? So M, where is percent? Why it is giving error? We need to provide the proper data type. Let's see. Or we have to use the map. I think we should use the map, not the filter. Yeah, I wrong. So because what do we say? We got some data, right? Now that data we have to modify. So we have to use the map operator. So instead of filter, we are not directly going to filter. So we have to use map operator. Okay, map also not the array one. See, it is coming from RxJS. So let's import it also. Map. Then here you get the result. And then you can finally use the filter operator. Now this filter is not from the RxJS. This is normally array because here you got the array and then you do the finally subscribe. Console.log result. Save. See, you got whole array as a one, 5, 20, just the even number. So map operator. So map is the second operator, and this is the mostly used. Whenever we, let's say you have a multiple, you are integrated some, you are integrating some API. From API, you get customer list array, and in that customer list array, you have so many of properties, but you just need some IDN number, IDN name array written back. So we use map operator. So map operator is basically used to filter out to modify the stream of data. Whatever the data you got, you can modify it and return the new one, right? So this is how we can use the map operator also. This is again very basic one. Now we will move ahead with the API call actually, what we normally use. So filter is like to filter the data. Instead of passing the whole data, you add some condition and then you return something. Map operator, the existing result of data, you pass it to some another operator to filter it out and then you are returning it. Okay. Now let's see, we will create our JSON placeholder API. So let's say JSON placeholder, we will integrate our user API. Where is our user API? Okay. So this API call we will integrate. Mm, yeah, let's do it over here, but we need to create the service also. HTTP inject, sorry, HTTP client. Okay. Now in constructor, this dot HTTP dot get API call round bracket our URL. So this is our URL and we will subscribe to it. We are going to get the array of object. Okay. Let's try to print this also. Let's see the original response. What do we get? And this result, I will print it over here. Let's see. Okay. So now here you can see we have got the array of a record where we have 10 elements and it contains so many properties also. Now, let's say you are working on an application where you done the API call and you have to bind the data, whatever the data you get from this API call, you need to bind it to the dropdown. Now, dropdown, you don't show all this data. What you will show ID and name you need because ID you will bind it to the value and name you will print it in the interpolation. Like so now instead of sending this whole data to your component, you have to format it, right? So let's say instead of writing this now over here, let's see if I have any service. Yeah, service I have. So let's move that API call function over here. Get JSON user because with the service you will understand very properly. Okay. Now here we won't actually subscribe. From here we will just return the data, right? So this service we need to inject into our API particular component. So master service master service. Okay. Now, instead of making that API call from the component, we have moved that API call into our service. Get JSON user. Okay. Remaining code is same. Why it is saying, okay, return keyword is missing. See, if we are not returning, obviously we cannot subscribe. Fine. So same output we should get. Now, instead of having our API call into our component, we have moved that to our service. Okay. So see, same response we are getting. Now the idea is before returning it back, I just need to return the specific data. Let's say ID and name array only I need. So here you can use the pipe operator. So pipe. Okay. Now you will use the map operator. Now here what you are going to get complete user list. So let's add it user list colon any. Let's add it in the round bracket. Okay. Now here we get complete array of data. Now from that, we just need to create a new array of data. So user list dot map. And here you will return some different object. So this map is now your array map. Like in array also we have map function, right? Which will help you to iterate on it and it will return some modified data. So that is this map is from your RxJS. Okay. See, but this map is from your array. Okay. So here you will get one instance at a time, right? So user colon any. Okay. Now here what you will return what you need a new object. In your user list, you have so many fields, but you need ID and the let's say name only. So what you will do ID colon user. So whatever the property you get it over here. So user dot ID comma, let's say user's name. So user dot name. Okay. Let me just format it so that we can properly see. So whatever the data we get from this API call, we are using map operator so that we can modify the data, right? And we are using the array map operator, array map function to format the array, right? So here we are actually doing the formatting and then we will sending it back. So now if we save, let's save. See, now what you got? Just the array of two properties, ID and the name. So from API call, you got so many of data, but in the service, you filter that data and then you send it back. Got it? So this is also possible by using the map operator. So map operator is basically allows you to read the stream of data and then send it back. Okay. So this is one of the use, like how you get a different array of object and you are sending it something else. Okay. Now, one more way, one thing I wanted to explain. Let me think what was that. So one more way, one more use case of map operator. Now in JSON placeholder, we have one more API. Let's say this ID 2. So if we pass /2 over here, so we will get a single object. Now, if you see the response, we got some object and some inner object also. Now let's say this is the API call we are going to do. Get single user this dot http dot get API call. This is my API call to get the particular record. Okay. So from here, we are going to make the API call, which is going to return a single object. Now this object contains some properties and some inner object also. Now let's say, let's first subscribe this. So this is the old example. This dot master service dot get single user dot subscribe from bracket result colon any. I'm going with any, but just that is not our topic to concern. Just to save the time, I'm using any. Fine. So let's print it console.log and we will print whatever the data we get from the API result. Let's save and check. See, here you got everything, whatever that API response, API send back, that everything we have got into our component. But let's say I don't need the whole data. I just need the address. Okay. So in your API call function, here you can use the map operator. So pipe, as I said, again, we have to use the pipe map. Now here, user data. What you will get? Complete user data, single response. So from that, you have to return user data, or you don't need a return also. User data dot, what you need? Just the address. So here you get the complete object. From that complete object, what you are returning is just the address. Let's save and check. See, you got just the address. Now from API call, you got complete thing, but from that you just return some inner object only. So this is also one of the ways of using map operator. Again, there are so many use cases. When you actually start working on the project, you will see, if you join any existing project and where their RxJS is properly used, you will see this map operator so many times. But this is again basic example what I can take so that everyone will be able to understand, whether you are a fresher or your experience also. Right? Got it? Now one more parallel operator is there, that is tab. Now in both the places, here you are making the API call where you get all the user data. But again, we are returning ID and the user ID and the name array only. Here you are getting all the data from the for the particular user, but you are returning just the address. But what if one more place is there where you need in the same component, one more place is there where you need the actual data also. So again, you cannot create one more API call and do again one more API call. That will be unnecessary making our API call. So here we have one pipe tap operator. Okay. So just like map filter now, we have one tap operator also. So how do we write the top operator? So tap. Okay. Now in tap operator allows you to actually read the original data. Okay. So see now. So user list. Okay. Comma multiple operator. How do we add? Is comma separator and you can add the multiple operator. Let's add the console or let's add a debugger. I just want to show you where we have to use the tap operator also. Let's enable the debugger. Wait, why my debugger is not working? We added a debugger, right? Okay, this function was commented. Sorry. This we have to uncomment. Okay. So see, first tap operator got executed and here you can see you got everything. So now this data, you can store it into a variable in your service, into some observable or somewhere. Then you can always listen it back to the component, right? So tap operator you use to listen to the original stream of data, whatever you got. And here you can store it somewhere. Okay. Now see, if I add the tap operator over here, and if I add the tap operator after it, after the modification, see the difference, how it behaves. Now here also we got 10 record, but see, Because the modified data, because you have added the tap operator, once you modified the original stream of data, na, so tap operator, you should use it over here only, the first occurrence only. This is an interview question, like what if I use tap operator after the map operator? Obviously, you will get the modified data. So tap operator should be in the first sequence because you need to read the original data. Okay. So this is also one of the use of tap operator. So tap operator allows you to read the original data, and then you store it into some variable over here on some observable, so that you can again, instead of making the API call, you can subscribe to that, the whole data. Got it? So this is our tap operator. Now, one more example. This is like debouncing, and that topic is there, but I wanted to explain the filter operator one more time. Uh, or let's go with a very normal thing, interval, right? So in the first session, I have explained interval. Let's say time interval from RxJS, and I want the interval to be triggered after every 1 second. Okay, so I have created the interval. Now let's uncomment this. Don't get confused again, because when you see, let's say, filter or map, when you see multiple example of how map operator we can use, then only you will understand. So these are the multiple ways how you can use map operator. When there is some scenario where you can use it, if you have seen various example like this, then only it will come to your mind that instead of writing the manual code, you can actually use the map operator or filter operator also, right? Now see, so this is time interval dot subscribe result colon number we will get console.log, and I will print this result. Okay, let's see now. After every 1 second, see, it is printing. Now let's say instead of printing whole number, you just need on the what do we say, even number only. You need to subscribe only even number only. So what you can do, again, you will remove this and you will use pipe operator, round bracket num, sorry, you need to use filter num percent 2 equal to 0. Then you do finally subscribe. Okay. Now let's see. 0, 1 second got. See, now after every 2 seconds, because we are not listening to the odd number. So this is also one of the ways. Okay. One more way, like reactive form, if let's create a form control. And in reactive form, we have value changes, right? So let's say search control, new form control. I'm not creating a whole reactive form, just a, what do we say? Sorry. Let's initialize directly. So I have created a search control, and let's say this search control you have binded to a text box. And once that text box value get changed, we have to listen to it, right? So how do we do that? Whenever in reactive form, if we have to react on the value changes, so we have value changes. So this dot search control dot value changes, right? So with value changes, we subscribe. So dot subscribe result colon any. Now we need a text box also. Then only this will execute now. Let me make it bigger. So instead of having this, let's go with input form control. First, we need to import the reactive form, right? It's a standalone component. So reactive form model we have imported. Form control is equal to our control name, that is search control. Property binding. Okay. Placeholder search. And whatever the search, we will print it console.log. Let's see now. Okay, so this is the search box. See now, once I'm changing, my search is getting printed. So whatever user is typing, let's clear it one more time. So every time user change the text box value, my subscribe is going to execute. See, okay. Now, let's say on this search box, you are making an API call. But for every character, you don't want to make the API call. You just you want to trigger the API call once user provided at least three character. So here also you can use the pipe operator. So instead of directly subscribing, what you can use pipe operator, then filter operator, right? So here you will get the search text. You need to check the length, right? So search text dot length is less than or equal to 3. Then we will actually subscribe. See now. See, after third character only it started emitting. Got it? So this filter operator you can use on the search value changes also. So these are the various use cases where we use our operators. Okay. One more way, one more operator I will be explaining. Take operator. So we had this interval. Okay. Let's copy this and let's paste it over here again. Let's remove this pipe interval. Okay. Let's go back now. So after every second, it is emitting. Now it is not going to stop, right? We have created an interval with 1000 second. So 1 second. So after every 1 second, it is going to keep emitting the values. See, it's never going to stop. But let's say around up to 7 or 8 only you need to, what do we say? Get the data. You need to subscribe. So what you do, dot pipe, and then you use take operator. Okay. So how much time you need to subscribe? Let's say 6. And see now. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, after that means 6 got over, no? 0 starting. So after that, it stop receiving the data. So until what you want to receive the data. So that is take 6. Again, we have so many take until, right? Skip until, so many operators are there. But just to begin with, these are the some operator I have explained. Some I have done it with the service also, and in the component also we have seen some. So map operator, filter operator, tap operator, right? Take until. These are the mostly used operator what we should know when we actually work in the Angular. Okay. So that's it with the second episode. Operator we have completed. Then again, subject, behavior, subject. So many things are there. So that I will again coming back with the new episode. Fine. Thank you. If you are new, please do like, subscribe. In the WhatsApp, you will be able to find the group link. This session was actually I was doing it with the live with all of you, but I was traveling, so I was not getting time to do that live. So I have done it as per my time availability. So next session we will definitely do it as a live. Fine. So thank you. That's it.